Ladies and gentlemen, my name is John Bateman. This is the DUI Lab. Welcome. I am a DUI attorney. Been doing it for years. I've had the same training officers have had in most cases. SFST. I'm an SFST instructor, and I like to watch videos of DUIs online and tell you my thoughts. So I thought it'd be fun to bring y'all along with me on the process. Today we've got an interesting video. It is, let's see, full screen it. This is Justin Timberlake's 2024 DUI arrest. This is the body cam, so we're not going to get everything on there, but I thought it might be interesting to go through the video. I'm going to try to call balls and strikes. Obviously, I've got a bias. I'm an attorney that defends these cases. So, but that said, let's have a look and see how we go. All right, so I'm just going to hit play here. All right, body cam, officer riding down the road. Let's see what's going on here. Looks like lights are on. Still no audio. Get out of the vehicle. All right, so pause it. So this is a backup officer arriving on the scene in the DUI world, DUI defense world. We would call this a handoff case. Looks like the initial officer made the stop. Not sure what the underlying reasonable suspicion for that stop was at this point in the video. I haven't really looked into this case yet. I'm coming into it fresh. So we'll see if they talk about that. Still quiet. It's a pretty low body cam.
And then when we do this, just like you're doing right now.
Pause it here. All right, so it looked like the officer might have been performing horizontal gaze nystagmus. That's one of the 3 standardized field sobriety tasks or tests, whatever verbiage you use in your jurisdiction.
Arms, feet together, arms by the side. You're doing it just now. I'm just going to re-explain it before we continue, okay? Arms to the side, feet together, and then you're going to keep your head straight and just keep your head straight, only follow with your eyes, okay? Okay. You understand that? All right. Yes, sir.
So we can't really see here too well what's going on, but basically the officer is going to be moving that stimulus, his finger it looks like, or maybe it's a pen, back and forth, and Mr. Timberlake's going to be tracing it with his eyes, and what the officer's looking for is an involuntary shaking of the eyes called nystagmus. There's a number of things that can indicate nystagmus. What he's looking for is alcohol gaze nystagmus. That would be a specific type of nystagmus that is that begins to show itself when somebody has alcohol in their system. Can't really see his eyes on this video. That's not terribly uncommon. If we had the body cam from the arresting officer, we might be able to see. Sometimes on these body cams, you can see nystagmus nowadays because the quality is high enough. All right, so it looked like at that point what we're checking for is distinct and sustained nystagmus at maximum deviation. What you're going to see is the officer, it's not the first clue the officer's looking for. The prior clue, I couldn't really tell where we are, but based on what he's doing with his stimulus, he would take the stimulus, got a pen here somewhere. He would take the stimulus and he would move it out. I'm following it with my eyes all the way out there, right? So hold it out there. Let's see, get it so you can see me in the camera. Hold it all the way out there. Minimum of 4 seconds, because the key with distinct and sustained nystagmus is the sustained, right? It's not uncommon, I don't believe, for somebody to have nystagmus when they first put their eyes all the way out there. It's if that nystagmus continues to be evident out there for 4 seconds. It looked like he was trimmed a little short on that 4 seconds, so an attorney would have a problem with that probably if they know what they're talking about. Too short for distinct and sustained nystagmus. So the thing to keep in mind about that is if the tests are performed correctly, then they're not going to have the same accuracy rate, right? That makes sense to anybody. So you're going to have trouble with that from an evidentiary standpoint, at least in my in my opinion.
Got him.
All
6,
right,
go
so
ahead.
now the officer's leaving, but you could tell. Here, I'll try to see if I can back it up just a little bit here. You could tell the officer is taking the stimulus, putting it right in front of Justin's eyes, moving it very slowly. What you're looking for there, the officer's looking for the onset of nystagmus prior to a 45-degree angle of onset. So he's looking, he doesn't want to see any nystagmus, and then eventually the stimulus is going to get all the way out at 45-degree angle. If he doesn't see nystagmus, then he's not going to see the clues there. A total of 6 clues for HGN that he's looking for, the officer's looking for. But as you can see in a minute, the other officer, the body cam, the cameraman is going to turn away, so we're not going to really get to see. Here we go. So you can kind of see it. See how slowly it's moving.
6, go ahead.
There you go. Not gonna be able to see the rest of that test to see if it was performed correctly, but we were in a position to observe nystagmus anyway. I'd be curious what the officer wrote in his report. Let's see.
Your BMW is valid to 6 Rental Car LLC.
I'm just trying to read what's going
Subject
on here. It's just so
Justin
quiet.
Timberlake is
See if we can hear the volume.
valid out of Tennessee.
All right, there you can see the officer checking for vertical nystagmus, VGN, basically moving that stimulus up. Mr. Timberlake's going to be following it with his eyes up like that, and at the top, if you can see this, if the eyes are shaking, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, that's going to indicate that's not one of the clues, one of the 6 standardized clues for this examination, but according to NHTSA, it could indicate a high dose of alcohol for this individual. It's kind of rare, honestly, that I see those in the terms of my cases, but they always check for it because it's part of the instructions.
Try to keep that head straight.
10 point, thank you. You could back this up, Mr. Please.
It's gonna be like almost like you're looking at your eyebrows. You can keep your head straight and just follow your eyes. When your eyes go up, it's gonna be almost like you're looking at your eyebrows.
Got you.
All right, what do we got there? All right, what he's performing now, it looks like he's going to be doing the lack of convergence, maybe.
Okay.
A little
All
straight.
right, the
I'm going
next
to
thing
back
is
it
going to
up.
be called a walk and turn.
He's checking for VGN
Okay.
again. Maybe.
All right, the next thing is going to be called a walk and turn. I'm going to explain this to you, and then you're going to go ahead and do it, okay? So I'll just explain it in its entirety, and then we'll go ahead and do it. It's going to be 9 heel-to-toe steps, followed by a series of small steps, turning around.
So he's what's going on now is the officer is explaining the walk and turn test. This is the instruction stage. So when we're talking about the walk and turn test, usually when there's errors that officers make in the administration of the test, it's going to be the instruction stage of the test. The officer is going to give the driver something like 32 different commands that they have to follow in order to perform this test properly. So you've got to, as a practitioner, really listen closely to the instructions, which if I'm hovering super close to my speakers, it's because I'm trying to hear that and the AC's kicked on, which is great. But here we go. Let's see how he does. I'm rooting for Justin. Let's go.
Okay. Followed by 9 heel-to-toe steps back. So we can use an imaginary line. If you want.
All right, he's balancing on an imaginary line, so keep that in mind. Be watching very closely to see if he steps off the line that he's imagining.
There's like a little skid mark here, so we can use that. What I'm going to have you first do.
This one or this one?
It's going to be the one.
So this is a little bit, all right. This is a little bit unusual because normally what happens in this situation is the officer puts the driver in a what's called the starting position. They're mid-start with their standing, their hands by their side, right foot in front of the left foot, heel to toe. They're supposed to stand that way while they get the instructions, and most drivers don't realize this, but that's really the first clue that you could show on this is during that starting, while you're in that starting position, if you can't hold that balance, and they're going to interpret that as a clue of a 0.08 or higher BAC.
One of your preference, okay? Just
Whatever you want, man.
You got it.
So far, Justin's very compliant. And again, I don't know anything about this test. He's going off of this. I don't know if there is any.
How you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
I just can't imagine what it'd be like for him. It's Justin Timberlake. I'm not laughing at this situation. It's just a bit absurd.
We'll start right here, and then we'll continue down this little skid mark here, and we're going to have an imaginary straight line, okay?
Okay.
So what I'm going to have you do, put your left foot on this imaginary line.
This one?
Yep, and put your right foot in front of your left.
There we go. Okay,
And
so now he's in the
what you're
starting
going to do,
position.
you're going to stand just like this. Left foot on
Then
line,
just-
right foot right in front of your
There we
left. And you're going to stand like this, and then I'm going to explain everything, and then we'll go ahead and do it, okay?
Okay.
So left foot on the line.
I'm really curious about this because, most of the time when we watch these videos, we're not watching somebody who's professionally known for their dancing, like Mr. Timberlake is. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does. Again, I like seeing people do well on on walk and stand. So I hope that's what we see here.
Left foot on the line first. And then you're going to put your right foot in front of your left, stay
Yep,
just
right
like that.
in front of the left.
Okay?
There we go.
You're going to heel
Okay.
to toe like this. Heel to toe.
Oh.
Put your left foot on the line. Yep.
It
You're
is
gonna
an
have your right
unnatural
foot in front of
position
your
to be
left foot,
standing
so.
in, to be fair.
Here. Okay, so we're going to
When
put
was
our
the last
left foot on
time
the
I would
line
ask
first.
the viewer they've stood like
Put your
this
right
unless
foot
they've
in
been
front of your left, heel
practicing
to
for a
toe.
person.
And you can stay just like that, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So it's going to be a series of 9 heel to toe steps. I will demonstrate this like you're doing right now. Like this. 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 9.
Guys.
Followed by a series of small steps around. 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 9 back. This is going to be heel to toe. So you're going to be clicking your heels as you're going. Arms by your side. While you're doing this, you're going to look
Guys.
down at your toes.
Guys, I'm just following my friends back to my house. I'm
All right, looks
not-
like they're about to start. And what you might not realize if you're not in this world that we're in, this DUI world, the officer's already looking for clues. There are a total of 8 potential clues on the walk and turn. 2 of them are during the instruction stage, which is kind of what we're wrapping up here. One would be starts too soon. And I think we did see that, but in fairness to Mr. Timberlake, I don't believe, and maybe I didn't hear it, I don't believe the officer has said, hey, don't start until I tell you to start. It's possible that he did say that and I missed it. I'm doing this live, folks. So if he did say that and I missed it, I'm being unfair, let me know in the comments. Okay, so also the other, so starts too soon, starts before being told to start, that'd be one clue. The other clue would be unable to maintain the starting position, that standing right foot in front of left foot, heel to toe, and that's been fairly evident. Now, sometimes here's an important distinction between unable to maintain your balance in that position and just don't stand in that position. Because one thing that I see a lot is a lot of people who get in that position, which is an unnatural and uncomfortable and kind of a silly position for an adult to be standing in. And then the officer starts going through the steps and the person's concentrating on what they're learning, which is how to perform this test. And they say, well, there's no reason for me to be standing like this because I haven't started the test yet. Not realizing that, according to the officer, they have started the test. So really, when we're looking at the walk and turn test, I feel like the starting position, unable to maintain starting position, is almost like a gimme for the cops. That's why I have problems with that test. But let's continue. Let's see where we get.
I'm not doing anything. I'm just following my friends back to my house.
Will you do these tests?
He's talking.
Sure.
Okay.
He doesn't sound
like I explained, it's been 9 heel to toe steps. You're going to be clicking your heels, arms by your side. Just wait until I have you go.
Like this?
Arms by your side. So it's going to look like this.
Sorry,
arms by your side.
I've never done this, so I'm just...
Never done
Just mimic him.
It's going to be arms by your side, just like that,
I
while you're
have
doing
a
it.
lot.
Perfect.
Okay.
Your eyes are going to be looking at your toes
Okay.
as you take each step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay.
Once you get to your 9th step, like I demonstrated, your lead foot's going to stay planted, and you're going to take a series of small steps around, followed by 9 heel to toe steps back. Okay? Again, as you walk, you're going to be counting those steps out loud, looking at your toes. Arms by your side the whole way. So you're going to start with your left foot on the line.
Okay.
Right foot in front of your left.
I'm pausing it there. So at the end, you notice at the end of the instruction stage, the officer says, hey, watch your feet, keep your hands by your side, count your steps out loud. There's one other thing you got to say. Once you begin the test, don't stop the test, okay? Because that's one of the clues. One of the clues is if you're doing walk and turn and you stop in the middle, that's, you know what I mean? Like a long pause between steps, that would be a clue. So if we were looking at this from a schoolhouse perspective where this officer was trained, if the officer was trained under the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's training regime for all years. They update it every couple of years. That's a required instruction. And what people don't understand is, in order to get your certificate as a DUI SFST investigation practitioner, to get that certificate, you have to give those instructions pretty much verbatim. Okay, so when you're getting your training as an officer, and I've been through this training myself, it can be difficult, right? You've got to nail it. You've got to administer these tests perfectly, or you're not going to be able to get certified. At least in my jurisdiction, South Carolina, you're not going to be able to get certified to perform these tests. So if this officer had, during his certification exam, had administered walk and turn in this way, much like, actually, you could say the same about the administration of horizontal gaze nystagmus, either of those, he would not be qualified or certified to do DUI investigations under the NHTSA standards at the very least. So that's a problem. That matters, in my opinion. But let's see how he performs.
Stay like that, and then
Just like this?
it's going to look like that. We'll start, okay? We'll start.
He's going to tell you when you're supposed to begin. He just wants you.
I'm sorry.
You're all good.
I'm
He just wants you to be in position. He's going to
pretty-
basically tell you when to go. Okay.
So I'm going to have you get in
Pretty
position,
solid steps.
and then I'm going to say you may
Perfect
begin.
here,
I
but-
got you. I got
So
you.
left
Perfect.
foot on the line,
Okay.
right foot in front of your left,
Ready?
and you may begin.
And then just walk.
Great.
I'm sorry. I'm
Here.
I'm,
Ready?
That's
Ready?
off
Ready?
I'm a little nervous.
Left.
I'm just
Right foot in front.
But here's the other
You're
problem,
going to look
right, with this test is there's two other clues that we're looking for, right? There's a total of 8, but 2 of them that we kind of observed right there was steps offline and misses heel toe, right? But in this case, we pause it. All right, sorry about that. Accidentally stopped recording, and then it was lunchtime, so I'm gonna get some lunch. Let's pick it back up again after a brief break. Here we go with Mr. Timberlake. Looks like we're about to start walk and turn.
down. Ready? 1, 2,
okay.
3,
Got you.
4. Like that.
So
Okay.
you-
Hang on.
so-
Let him tell you when to go. Let him tell you when to go. He's got to tell you when to start. Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Don't worry about it.
Sorry.
No, I want to make sure. We want to make sure you do this right.
Just chaotic scene. Too many chefs in the kitchen. Chefs. Too many chefs in the kitchen, I guess. A lot of overtalk, crosstalk. Let's see. What we got?
Right foot in front of your left.
Is this my line?
Whichever
Perfect, yep.
imaginary line you make, that's the line you're going to walk. And you may begin.
7. All right. Took too many steps. Missed heel toe on a couple. It looked like when you miss heel toe on walk and turn, you've got about a ½ inch, exactly a ½ inch of, you don't have to clip the heel to toe together. Sometimes you see officers misinterpret that clue. In this case, it looks like he's pretty well off heel toe. Wrong number of steps. So turning around. Doesn't look like he's turning around. It doesn't look like he's turning around in the prescribed manner, which is to leave the lead foot kind of planted and step, small series of steps to turn around. It's a hard thing for the officer to describe. It's a hard thing for the driver to understand. It's very rare I see somebody do those that turnaround correctly. It's not really clear that that's an important thing for you to do, but it's something that you're graded on.
Yep.
All right, so we stopped
You gotta go back.
during the test. That would also be a clue.
Back this way.
But again, I
Yep,
don't know if
same
he
way
was
you went.
told.
Those steps back.
Missed a toe. Missed a toe. Missed a toe. Missed a toe. Stop flying probably. Missed a toe. It's not falling over, you know. It's according to the NHTSA manual, that's going to be indicative of a BAC of 0.08 or higher. But I've already noticed there's been deficiencies in each of the SFSTs that we've seen so far. So let's see if we do.
One more test for you.
So this one's going to be the one-leg stand, it's called. So either foot, one of your choosing, you're going to raise approximately 6 inches off the ground, keeping your foot parallel to the ground. You're going to be looking at your toes, counting aloud as followed: 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, and so on until I tell you to stop. Same as the other test, you're going to be keeping your arms by your side. You can start with your feet together if you'd like. And you're going to be raising either foot of your choice, left or right, does not matter, it's your choice. Foot looking just like this, parallel to the ground. You're going to be looking at your toes, counting loud, 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, so on until they tell you to stop. Do you understand that? Do you want me to re-explain it?
Tell me one more time.
You got it, no worries.
All right, so I'm asking for some clarification, and I'm going to keep an eye on the counter here because this is a 30-second test. Let's see what happens in 30 seconds.
Sorry.
So,
no, don't worry about it. We want to make sure that you understand everything fully, okay?
Yeah, of course.
Perfect.
So one leg stand. Stand with your feet together and your hands at your side. Do not begin until I tell you to do so. You understand?
Yes.
Just like that, perfect.
When I tell you to, I want you to raise one leg, whichever leg you choose.
Sorry, guys. Like, I'm like.
So whichever leg you choose, you're going to raise approximately 6 inches off the ground, foot pointed out,
just like this,
parallel to the ground. I'll tell you when to begin.
One thing that you notice here is the officer is reading the instructions off a piece of paper, which you see happen sometimes. As you can tell, the officer's got to ask the driver to do a number of things. But the problem that I have, and I think a problem that a juror would have in a situation like this, is we're expecting Mr. Timberlake to perform these tests without having notes to look at. And the officer is taking advantage of notes that he has in his possession to read these instructions, and presumably the officer's already been in the training. So if the officer who's been trained to administer these tests still needs notes to know how these tests are supposed to go, what does that mean? What chance does an average driver like Mr. Timberlake have? That's a good. I think that's a valid question, right? All right, let's see.
I'll tell you when to begin.
You can look at me, just as an example, right? So. Like this.
Whichever leg you choose, approximately 6 inches off the ground. Okay. While holding this position, count aloud 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, and so on until you tell to stop.
Sorry,
when you do this test,
sorry, my heart is racing.
When you do this test, keep your eyes on your raised foot. Count aloud by 1,000s. Keep your arms at your sides, and if you touch toes, if your foot touches the ground, if you lose balance or whatever, just bring it right back up, okay?
Okay.
So if you lose balance, you go down, you're going to bring it right back up. 1,000, 2,000.
Okay. Trying to listen there, it sounds like the officer's instructing Mr. Timberlake to, if he puts his foot down, raise his foot back up. Now, there's 4 potential clues that the officer's going to be looking at as he's grading Mr. Timberlake on his performance of the of the one leg stand specifically. One of those clues, and 2 clues would indicate 0.08 or higher BAC according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. So one of those 2 clues is puts foot down. So in the instruction stage, when you tell the driver, hey, if you put your foot down, pick it back up, it makes it sound like it's okay if you put your foot down and pick it back up. And a lot of times you'll see somebody or somebody will talk to me about this test that they've gone through, and they'll say, well, I did well, I didn't fall down. They're not testing to see if you fell down, right? They're testing to see if you put your foot down, if you hop, if you use your arms for balance, and then there's one for like eating.
Your count. So if you go down an 8 1,000, continue.
So like this.
Similar to that, yep. Arms by your side, and then let me know when you're ready. So you can put your foot down, and then we'll start.
Oh, come on! What? Who needs to see the stop sign?
With Justin? Okay, perfect. Yeah, we're doing a couple tests on him. Okay.
Help us.
What's up?
Help.
Here's the friend.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. We're just doing a couple of tests on him. I need you to hang it over here just so you don't interfere with him, okay?
Everything okay?
Yeah, we just have to do a couple of tests on him, make sure he's okay to drive as well.
Okay. If not, we can have someone drive him.
Right, gotcha.
I'm scanning forward. I don't want to make y'all sit through the officer going to talk to. Friend.
Yeah. So I'll tell you to stop, yes.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay, now we're back.
1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000.
Alright, that's all good.
Yeah, puts foot down, sways, not wiggles, sways.
Alright.
By the way, these are like.
That's probably it.
These are like really hard tests.
Alright, so the last thing is going to be a pre-screen breath test. So this just lets me know where you're at. And then if you're below the limit, you're going, you just maybe someone else could drive, because it does seem like you're impaired and intoxicated.
Okay.
So, just one sec, I'll grab that real quick.
You know, I mean, there's a right and wrong way to get arrested, right? The wrong way is swinging the cops or, you know, professional. That's not helping the lawyers out any. Not helping. That's not helping any. So, you know, Mr.
Yeah, we could have you just hang out in the front of the car, okay? Thank you, I appreciate it.
Time of stop was 0020. Time now is
The friend shows up out of concern, but doesn't seem to be acting up in any way. So that's, sometimes a friend showing up on the scene isn't very helpful. So,
Or you, my sir?
are they going to do? They're going to do a non-consent test. I'm going to skip around a bit if that's okay. There's a lot at the end of these videos, a lot of stuff that I need to watch for clients. Videos here.
Mr. Timberlake, is SC okay to drive your car home? Do you care if she takes your vehicle tonight? You're okay with that?
Okay. Letting the friend take the car, which is something that you don't see all the time. It's kind of old school.
Okay, SD, Miss.
You know, and it's not,
No.
not nothing, right?
Unfortunately.
And then
Charge you $100 a day for the car.
I stopped
pick
him.
it up. It can really add up.
What was he doing? Tell me what happened.
He was unable to maintain his lane, but I'm not going to continue. We're going to get him back, okay? Because I'm not going to.
This is a private matter with us and him. I don't want to say it doesn't concern you because I don't want to be rude. However, it is a matter between us
But
and
can
him.
I talk to him real quick?
No, not anymore. No, he's in our custody now. Okay.
Yeah.
So he said, I talked to him.
That's wrapping
now.
it up.
You're
And,
going to take the car
actually,
home. Okay. Beach, your eyes are good. Okay. So you're going to take the car. Okay.
Actually, for
if you want, he'll get a phone call. He can contact whoever.
there we go. So during the break, I did see there's another body cam with the officer that does the HGN. I don't feel like watching it. You know, I feel like we've got everything we need here. Like I said, I don't know what's the situation with any chemical testing on this case, but based on what I'm seeing roadside, and I haven't seen the driving behavior, so I don't know how the driving behavior looks. A lot of times I'm surprised when I'm viewing clients' videos at how innocuous their driving behavior is. So, you know, to me, this looks like a defensible case. Did the officers have probable cause for the arrest? I mean, I think so, based on the tests as performed. But if we want to say that beyond a reasonable doubt Mr. Timberlake is impaired, I can't make that call because of the deficiencies in the administration of the standardized field sobriety tests. So that's my perspective on this one. If you have any cases that you're interested in that you can forward me a link, I'd be happy to try to look at them when I get a chance. If you have any questions about this, or you see something in here I missed, maybe you're a DUI cop, DUI lawyer, prosecutor, or defense, I love all types of folks, you know. Drop me a line and let me know if there's something I missed. We could talk about it, or if you have any questions about this stuff, please let me know. And thank you so much, and hopefully see you next time. Like and subscribe if you can. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks a bunch.